So, this is a really special episode of After Sex Ed in that I'm going to talk about myself, which I very, very rarely do. Um, but I took a break from podcasting for a bit, and there was a reason why. Not just because my life is, busy and crazy, but because online life is nuts. And when I teach in classes, when I teach sex education in classes, and I get invited to universities and I get invited to boardrooms and corporate settings, people are generally just really kind and really curious, and they want to learn, and they're really nice. But I've always maintained that online life is just so different from real life. And online just got really, really intense and really screwed up. So after sex ed, that's where I kind of blew up first, and was on TikTok. And that was the name of my handle there. And if you've been following me for a while, you would have seen that I have changed my name so many times on TikTok, and that TikTok has forcefully changed my name without my consent. I didn't consent to that. Um, because I just kept getting shadow banned, and I kept getting attacked, and I kept getting threats from people, and it seems that I really pissed off a certain group of people, and those people are, which I now have come to understand, are red pill incel people. They really came for me and attacked my account and wouldn't leave me alone for months. So I took a break from everything, and but like unwillingly. First, it's the break started off unwilling until I started to really just kind of like not being online so much. And it seems that the video that really pissed off the red pill incel crowd was a video on porn, which shocked the living hell out of me. But now, because I'm so in this world and I know so much about this group of people, all of which has been against my will, now I'm not like so surprised that it was porn that really pissed them off. So, if you don't know what red pill incels are, obviously incels are involuntarily celibate people, but mainly men, but or primarily or exclusively men are incels. But what's really funny is that incels actually originally started off as women. Women had started a group about being involuntarily celibate, and that they were complaining about not being able to have sex with any men really at all. And what was so upsetting for them was that people talk about male sexuality in this way where it's like, oh, guys will have sex with anyone, and the male incels talk like that as well, that women are so choosy and they'll take what they can get. But anyways, that's why female incels started the incel group first, was because there's this entire narrative around male sexuality that they will have sex with literally anyone, and they were like, well, not us. And that's how incels started, but they weren't violent. From what I understand, they weren't calling for, violence towards men or anything like that. They were just complaining. And I don't know a lot about that world, but I do know a lot about these male incels that really came from my account. So, and the red pill it's just like a metaphor for, like, quote unquote, like knowing the truth about things. So if you've been red pilled, it's usually just you've been down the alt right pipe, and usually leads to really insane amounts of misogyny. But anyways, the video that really set them off, that got them attacking me, reporting me, banning me, and threatening me, was a video that I made about porn. So, I have become somewhat of a porn expert in this really weird way, because since I've started taking on new clients, adult clients, because I've always historically taught sex ed to kids, obviously, but sex coaching is sex education for grown-ups. But since I've taught sex coaching to adults, most of my clients have been men, and most of them have some kind of porn consumption issue. So in and around this time, where I was still in school, learning a lot, but I was getting clients, I enrolled in a course on porn addiction at a prestigious sexual health institute. because I wanted to get better at it. It really became obvious to me that there was a porn problem because most of my clients were men, most of them were under 30, and most of them wanted to talk about porn to some degree. So I took this class in porn literacy and porn quote unquote addiction. And what I learned in the class was that porn addiction is a hotly contested, extremely controversial topic. And that within the sexual health community and within the addictions community and within the mental health community, um, porn being an addiction, being addicted to porn is not even decided. People are still arguing about it today. There's a lot of caveats. There's a lot of reasons why that's the case. I'm not a mental health expert. I'm an educator, as many of you probably know now. But when I was in this class on porn addiction and porn literacy, there were a lot of mental health professionals there. There were educators there. There were addiction specialists there. There were doctors there. There were sex workers there. There were all different kinds of people were in that class. And the people that specialized in addictions would often just kind of fight it out. They'd like fight it out in front of us. Some would think porn consumption isn't it, or porn was an addiction. Others didn't. So the reason that they were like fighting so much is that porn and sex and stuff tends to fit in this funny space as far as health is concerned. Like, as far as addictions is concerned. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the markers of addiction is if you are doing, if you have clandestine usage. So that just means you're hiding it. Like, you're hiding it from people. But, so think about alcohol or drugs or something like that. Those things are done recreationally. So if you're, drinking alcohol by yourself, like hiding in your room or something like that, and you're hiding your usage from people, that generally tends to be an indicator that you might have a problem. One of the models, like the model for addiction, beating it and kicking it, generally tends to be this cold turkey kind of approach. And you say no, and you don't do it, and you get your chip. That's an AA thing. But you get your chip, and you say, I'm, 5 years sober, 10 years sober, blah, blah, blah. And you don't do it anymore. But porn and sex generally tend to live in this funny space of, are we just not gonna do that anymore? I don't think that not having I don't think that not watching porn at all is necessarily the answer for everyone. It's incredibly nuanced. It's an incredibly nuanced topic because what often goes hand in hand with porn addiction or quote unquote addiction is what often goes hand in hand with porn consumption is masturbation. So this is where a lot of clients that I work with kind of run into a wall because they don't want to look at porn anymore. And then they cut it off, but then they also like cut off masturbation as well. And then if they want to do that again, they consider looking at porn and masturbating a relapse, which I disagree with because I don't think that masturbation should ever be a relapse. It's part of self-care. Anyways, I digress. This is quite the journey because I posted a video after that class just talking about the things that I had learned. I had learned that porn addiction was so controversial. I had learned that it's not considered, porn addiction is not a thing in mental health professions. It's not. It's still up for debate, and there are going to be people that think that it is, but there's going to be people that think that it isn't. But as far as the health professionals are concerned, porn addiction doesn't exist. So that's not to say you can't have an issue with it, which is exactly what I said in the video. I said that as far as, mental health professionals and everything are concerned, porn addiction doesn't exist. But you could obviously have an issue with it. And this completely set off red pill, incel, crazy men. Men they stormed my account. They started to threaten me. They got my account banned. They got, that's on TikTok. And then they went to Instagram and tried to get me banned there. I had people threatening to kill me. I had no idea that porn as this issue would set this group of people off. And I guess I learned the hard way that I think many of them are addicted to it. And that's why they got so keyed up about the topic. I would later come to understand that the red pill community really talks about porn addiction a lot, and there's a lot of red pill, like alpha, whatever those guys, podcasters talk about porn addiction a lot, and their model and their approach for it generally tends to be this cold turkey approach, like cut it off, don't look at it, and then if you look at it, it's a relapse. And with relapses, generally, not always, but generally, can be some shame and self blame. And that's where a lot of my clients that I work with find me. Is they usually have taken part in some kind of porn recovery program that is built on a cold turkey kind of model. Don't look at it anymore. They've relapsed, quote unquote, and they are punishing themselves. And that's when they reach out to me. So I have a different relationship with porn in that I think it's possible to have healthy porn consumption habits. I think it's possible to have a healthy relationship with porn and have it not take over your life. One of the key tenets of kind of trying to understand if someone's got porn issues is to ask them what they do when they look at porn. And the reality of pornography is that it's masturbatory material. It's there to make you horny. That's the whole thing. That's what it's supposed to do. So if you're looking at porn and getting horny, that's okay. What becomes a really big issue is if you're looking at porn and you're not. So you're not getting horny and you're not masturbating and it's not arousing you. So there's a lot of nuance to this discussion, but that is really what a concerning tenet of working with people with porn consumption is. So anyways, I was mentioning things like this in the video, in this one video that made incels and red pill people just go bananas. And I said that porn addiction is hotly contested. It's heavily debated in the mental health community. Generally speaking, it doesn't exist, porn addiction, but that's not to say that people aren't fighting about it. One of the tenets of porn consumption that you're always like looking out for with people is, you know, if you look at porn, do you get aroused and do you get horny? And if the answer is no, then we have an issue here, because are you angry? What's going on? And that's where I think the incel and red pill community have really hitched their wagon. That's where they, I think, feel really seen, in that if they relapse or if they masturbate or if they look at porn, they just get angry at the women in the porn. That's where they lash out. That's what they do. So making a statement like porn is masturbatory material, it's meant to arouse you and that's okay, you shouldn't shame yourself or punish yourself for that, tends to land somewhat well with that community. But the second you start saying, you know, don't blame those women either, like they're just doing their job, they don't need to be punished, that's where things get really messy and hazy. So after I posted this video, all of this intense just coming for me, threatening me with violence, finding me on Instagram. A couple found me on LinkedIn. It scared the shit out of me. I changed my name on TikTok. They tried to take my account down. I got shadow banned. I got warned. And then I told myself, just hit pause. Like, just let the account breathe. Like, don't look at it. I changed my name to Learn with Sabrina because I couldn't have anything sex related in my handle. I changed it to Learn with Sabrina. And then I decided to give it a rest and a breath. And then I just liked not being on that app like so much. It was so nice to just be away from the app that I enjoyed it. And then a couple months turned into like roughly a year. I was posting here and there, but I was like, I used to post really frequently. I used to get me so excited to go online and talk about all these fun things that I was learning about sex until I was like really intensely attacked by crazy incels. Anyways, that's what happened. And then I ended up just kind of taking a break from TikTok. I was more active. I still am pretty active on Instagram. And that's after sex ed, but the sex has a 3 in it. I should really do a whole episode on digital suppression if you're worried, if you're curious about that. I mean, the things that have gotten me banned have been saying the word porn, saying the word clitoris, saying the word penetration, saying the word orgasm, period, menstruation. Like, these words have gotten my account shadow banned. So, anyways, that's where I've been. That's why I took a long break from TikTok. And I'm there kind of just like gently dipping my toe in. But being away from it actually felt really good. And I decided to resurrect my podcast because that was the original plan. I wanted to talk about sex in a really transparent and fun and funny way. And I want to interview my fans and followers. I want to hear about your sex stories. I want to humanize sex and normalize it. And on podcasts, you can say what you want, and they can't take your content down, unless of course you're like insane. But so far, I've been able to say clitoris and stimulate a clitoris and penetration and stuff without being warned. So that's where I've been. And this is a little, special after sex ed episode because I want to tell everybody what was going on in my world. But while I paused on TikTok, I've done a bunch of other things. I did a TED Talk. I'm really proud of it. It's on my website. I released products. I have a porn literacy course. I have a sex drive mismatch course. So the vast majority of my clients, like I mentioned, have been men, and they're quite young. They're like under 35, under 40. And then the other batch of my clients generally tend to be couples that have a sex drive mismatch, headbutting kind of clash. So that's where a lot of my work has lived. I have a sex drive mismatch course, a worksheet. I'm coming up with a bunch of new courses on talking to your kids about sex because that's a lot of the questions I get, and not just and then worksheets for couples too, like exploring kink and exploring BDSM and exploring role play. I'm excited to roll all of those out for you. But I just want to let you know this is what happened to me, and I'm working on the second season of After Sex Ed, and I'm really excited. I've got people, kind of big names in the porn world. I'm interviewing sex workers. I'm interviewing business owners, people that talk about healthy masculinity, all kinds of different people, and my friends and followers too. Anybody that wants to share stories with me. I love having on. Anyways, so that's me. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the second season of After Sex Ed. Bye.